I gave Claude Code one instruction: add rate limiting to this API. No setup, no context, nothing, the way a lot of people do it. It failed this simple task because it was lacking the most important thing you need when you use AI for software development: context. In this video, we're going to explore why this happened and how to fix it. Okay, so we've got a small sample project here, an URL shortener to be more precise, with both backend and a really simple frontend. The backend is built with Express.js and has 3 endpoints, one that creates short links, one that redirects, one that lists them. Pretty straightforward. We're planning to do some changes to the backend to showcase why context is, in my opinion, the most important thing in AI coding, and it's going to be the difference between you one-shotting a feature or breaking your codebase. The frontend is built with React. It's got a simple page where you can see the shortened URLs, and another page I've built in order for us to test if the rate limit fix I want to apply here actually works. The UI is nothing special, we're only using some basic functionality here with a dedicated page for testing the rate limit implementation we're about to do. We've got Claude Code open here. As I mentioned, we gave it absolutely nothing to work with. I'll simply ask it to add rate limiting to this API and see what happens. As you can see here, it started working on this immediately without asking for any feedback from me. Okay, so it's done. Let's see how it did. The burst button on this page will trigger multiple API requests at the same time so we can see if our rate limiting implementation actually works. I've triggered it just now and it looks like absolutely every single request is rate limited from the start. This is obviously not our desired outcome. Let's see how we can address this and prevent issues like this in the future. First, the init command. It scans your codebase and generates a Claude markdown file that Claude reads at the start of every session. It will have information on structure, stack, and how to run your project. We're going to let this finish running, and we'll have some basics we can start building on top of. Okay, so it looks like we're done. Let's have a look inside the Claude.md file it generated. I can already see I need to briefly step in as it added a known gap section which is not going to be relevant to the project context since that's exactly the feature we're about to implement, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. Next, I'm dropping in some engineering principles. I use this section for every project I work on. These are derived from principles mentioned by Andrej Karpathy. Think before coding. State assumptions. Ask when unclear. Simplicity first. The minimum that solves the problem, and surgical changes. Touch only what you must. And last, goal-driven execution, to make sure Claude actually knows when a task is done. I found they really help keep Claude on track, especially when performing complex tasks. The second thing we're going to be using here is a custom skill. A skill is basically a reusable piece of context that gets triggered when certain conditions are met. Now, in this specific case, we're going to be defining a skill called Lean Planner. I've created the folder and now I'm going to go ahead and add its corresponding skill.md file. This file will always contain a description and the actual skill body. The description will get loaded into context for every session. We want to keep this short and clear because the description will be used by Claude to determine if this specific skill needs to be invoked. If the conditions are met, the actual body where you have the full description of what the skill should do gets loaded into context. Now in this specific case, we're going to be defining a skill called Lean Planner. I've just pasted it here, and to keep it short, this skill is telling Claude to go through this project's existing code and determine if we have anything similar already implemented that we can either extend or use as a starting point to build out our features. I'm planning to use this to augment plan mode, because even when using plan mode, Claude is always overly eager to get to writing code. This way, I'm ensuring that it's thorough when planning and asking the necessary questions. We'll run /reload skills and we're good to go. Finally, and the piece that ties it together, plan mode. When it's on, Claude researches and plans but won't change anything. It reads files, searches the codebase, writes a plan, and won't edit your source. Quick accuracy note. I've seen some tutorials get wrong. It's not a magic sandbox that makes editing impossible. Claude's told to plan and the normal permission prompts back it up. Everything's together now. Plan mode on, I invoke the skill I just created and I give it the same request that broke everything. Add a rate limiter. It's off to work now. Let's see what happens this time around. First question. I can see it successfully found our existing middleware and it's proposing two options. Either use the same pattern or add in the express rate limit package. We're going to create our own middleware in this case. And then the question that actually matters. Which endpoints do I want rate limited? Our original Claude didn't even take that into consideration, it just did all of them. This time it gets that throttling, the redirect, or the list makes no sense. Only the create endpoint can be abused, so just that one. Let's move on. Now it's going to create the plan markdown file. One nice trick here is that once you're presented with the plan, if your IDE supports Claude Code, you can press Ctrl+G to open up the plan file and modify it directly if you spot anything wrong with it. In this case, it seems that everything looks good. Our Claude.md file and our skill did their job and produced something I can actually use. No need to say this is a pretty big difference from just using Claude Code blindly. Seeing this, you can start to understand why codebases get filled with AI slop and how you can prevent this. This is only the first step that you need to take in order to keep AI in check and ensure it doesn't break your codebase, but it's already going to make a big difference. So I'll go ahead and approve this. 29 seconds later, everything's done and ready to go. Now let's actually validate what Claude did and see if everything's working now. First requests go through, then the limit kicks in, exactly right. And the rest of the app still works. Same feature, same model, same 6-word request. The only thing that changed is I gave Claude the context to think like an engineer. That's the whole lesson, and it's why this channel exists. AI doesn't make slop because it's stupid. It makes slop when you treat it like a vending machine. No context, no principles, no chance to think. Claude.md, a skill, and plan mode. Set those up once, and Claude stops guessing and starts producing clean, usable code. If this genuinely helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.